We live.
Welcome, world. Let me get this out of the way here.
It is kind of cool though. It's got cool stickers on it.
But I don't represent a lot of stickers. I'll put it like this way. You can see the Michael Scott Paper Company.
There you go,
There
right
you
there.
go.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah, okay.
Shout out Jason Metza one time. I worked on his campaign. Brilliant man. Amazing person.
Very cool.
And it was a really fun campaign.
I bet
to
that
work
was a
on.
cool story.
Shout out to all the people that I worked with in Duluth, Minnesota. Those people were awesome.
That's
Duluth is a great place. I'll tell you a quick story.
Yeah, man.
I was doing some canvassing, so I was door knocking, and I come across this lady's house, and she was like outside, and I had looked on the thing, and I was almost positive that it was her house I was going to, and so I like run up real quick, and I was like, and I catch her real quick, and told her who I was, yada yada, and she like was like, I'm gonna run inside, I got some coffee and some cigarettes I'm gonna bring back out. You want anything? And I was like, no, because I wasn't allowed to take anything from
for
people, like rules, whatever. But then we like sat outside on her porch and we chatted for like 45 minutes about
I bet she was a cool woman.
politics.
Yeah.
You know, my thing when I was canvassing is I always wanted to know, because I was new to Duluth. I wanted to know what are the things you deal with on a day-to-day basis that you think your town can work on.
Yeah, do better at or whatever. Yeah.
And what are the things you go through?
Yeah.
And a lot of the stuff was same song, second verse, people talking about like medical issues, like pharmaceuticals being too expensive, being addicting, a lot of that, because demographic in this area is like majority 65 and up.
Yeah.
There's a lot of older folks.
Yeah, for sure. Usually get on medications and then that's it.
This
They're
lady
on
she was young. She was like 35,
40.
40.
So she's much younger.
She was young, maybe a little, maybe like 45-ish.
Okay, yeah. Middle age, maybe.
Yes, such a sweet lady. And so we have this awesome conversation. She tells me about her life, yada yada. She was asking me questions too, which you didn't get a lot of. Yeah. Because people weren't really interested to talk
You're
to people.
You're easy to socialize with.
Right.
So
right.
fair.
And I kind of took the politics out of it once I started the conversation. It was kind of just like my beginning conversation piece.
Yeah.
Because I had to. It was what I was working. So anyways, I leave her place, go on, do the rest of the doors. Anyways, I get back to the house and the neighbor of, so I was living with Pat and Kat. I've mentioned them on the show before. Shout out Pat and Kat. Their next door neighbor, I can't remember their names at the top of my head, but anyway, she comes up to me and she's like, hey, I think I saw something on Facebook and I think it's about you. And she pulls it up, and sure enough, one of her friends on Facebook is this lady. And she's got like 4 paragraphs talking about this young man who came up to her door today and was talking about,
So you went kind of like mini viral in Duluth.
It was weird, dude.
Yeah.
It was so weird because I get home and, I read this and like tears came to my eyes, man. Because it was like,
you impacted this person.
Right.
And you understood it, you felt it, and they expressed it.
Yeah,
like that.
And it was one of those moments where I realized I was really adulting, because I had just come from, I graduated high school probably not even a month ago and drove up, to Minnesota.
Welcome to life, man.
And it was like, wow, you know, and that's one of those things you build on that, you build on that in life. How can I impact people?
Yeah.
But you also have to take the fact that I wasn't trying.
Yeah.
I was simply just doing my job and I was being me at the same time.
Yeah.
And it was like, wow, like you don't have to go do all this crazy, you don't have to play a role. You can simply be yourself.
Yes.
And, that's, you build on that true self and keep taking those.
This is why you would be a great politician.
I see. I would.
But you don't want to be one. And great politicians don't want to be a politician. That's the problem. Because you have to be crooked and all the other stuff, and you don't want to do it. You don't want to do what it would take to be a real politician, and I don't blame you. But that's what would make you really great. Yeah. That's cool, man. I like those stories. I like the humbleness of I've always enjoyed this. 2 random people from 2 different places sitting down and just having like a get together, and they just get along, man. Mm-hmm. that's always kind of like excited me about life. I don't know why. I don't get it, but like that to me, that's when you really experience the cool stuff, and that's when you really see culture. That's when you really see diversity. It's really when you see humanity in a way that like where they're coming from. I guess I have to tell this story now while we're in this moment. I used to live in English Village, and I got I got my dog. That condo.
I've been to that condo.
So that condo, when I used to live at that condo years ago, I loved that place back in the day when I was living there. So I got my dog, Little Lang, and we used to go for walks all the time. And I'd take the same pass all the time through the neighborhoods or whatever, and I'd come back to this little apartment complex. And there used to be this woman who would sit out there all the time with her dog, or maybe it was a cat, one or the other. And like my dog would come over there and play with them. I go by. Finally, one day she's like, "Hey, you want to have like dinner? Like come over here and have dinner. It's my daughter, me, and like our neighbor or whatever that I make dinner for too. We're all gonna have dinner outside out here. Would you like to come by and have dinner? So like went by and had dinner with all of them. They're all really cool people. I ended up hanging out with them like a bunch of times. She used to be out there all the time. She'd just walk by and just hang out and sit down, and we'd just chat. She was divorced, had 2 kids, and was living in this apartment.
Dude, I think I know this woman. I think this is my...
If you tell me her daughter's name, then I can tell
Hannah.
You. Oh my God.
Oh my God, it's the same person.
Holy crap.
This is one of my friends from high school.
That's so...
Mom.
Yeah,
I used to hang out at that apartment.
For sure.
Wow.
Yeah, you're talking about in English Village.
I can't go to English Village without thinking about those two. You two people. Yeah, on the corner.
I used to hang out there all the time.
I know exactly where you're talking about sitting outside there because I would eat meals there too.
I feel so bad because I ended up getting caught up with life and never ended up like really going back and getting back with them again.
You can still reach out to her, man. She's my Facebook friend.
But I think I'm going to have to.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. I remember because her daughter was like just graduating high school, I think.
Yep. She was my sister's age.
And she was going off to like Auburn or Alabama.
Yeah, she went to Auburn.
Auburn, right? Yeah. Okay. And then, she had like a brother. They had
Brendan.
2 kids.
Brendan, that was my friend.
That's so weird, dude.
Isn't that wild?
The mom she's cool, man. I really liked her.
Really
she
cool.
was, so like, this is the end of the story. So like this one time she was telling me, she was like, I swear to God, I sit here and this guy walks up to the window and the silhouette of him just jerks off at the bathroom. Like he's jerking off. And I was like, there's no way. Like, there's no way. Finally, one night, I used to walk a couple times a day. So like I saw her all the time. And I sat down one night and lo and behold, guy comes to the window and he looks like he's sitting and he is straight up jerking off. And he's jerking off for sure. We just sat there laughing together, and I was like, holy shit, you're not lying. This dude really does sit here at the window and just jerk off. This is so weird. Yeah, funny story, man. But yeah, she made food for me one time. I came and had dinner with them.
That's so crazy. I've had dinner with her so many times.
Dude, it's so weird that when you said you knew them, I was like, this is impossible.
I had a feeling it was her the moment you started telling me this story.
Why?
Because she used to do that. She would just sit outside, and the cat would just hang around. She would like have a cigarette,
cat, right? Yeah, she has a cigarette all the time.
It was like a gray cat.
Yes, and my dog loves cats because cats don't mind my dog because he's freaking 5 pounds. A rodent. Yeah, he's a rodent. And the cat's like, I can kill this thing. Right. That's hilarious.
Wow.
Yeah, I love that because we just have wholesome conversations.
Mm-hmm.
I've always thought about those conversations in like that random time in my life where I'd walk by this place and just have these random interactions with them.
Wow.
And I loved watching her 2 kids just coming and going.
Mm-hmm.
Like her daughter was always
Brendan.
I've met both. I had dinner with both of them for sure.
Wow.
Yeah. It would be always cracking me up because her daughter was a senior, so she'd always be like going somewhere and she'd be like, where are you going? What are you doing? And she'd be like, don't worry, Mom, kind of, it's like that old interaction where I just used to always laugh like, who knows where she really is going? Because at 18, who knows where I was going?
Right.
Like if I think back at my age, that always just cracked me up. I always enjoyed that. It was like that humility almost, like you're adulting.
Mm-hmm.
That was my first like truly I'm adulting now. I'm hanging out with the mom,
right?
Not the kids.
Right.
Like this is weird, kind of a thing.
Do you remember how old the dude was?
We said the dude, like
the son.
The son. He had to have been 8th grade, maybe.
Yeah, that's when I met him.
I mean,
that's weird.
I think they just moved here. Yeah, I was gonna say they just moved here, right?
They had just moved there from Mobile. It was Mobile. Yeah, I know.
I want to say it was freaking. What's the nice place down there in Mobile? That really nice area.
Yeah. Fairhope.
Fairhope.
Yeah, they had moved
from Fairhope.
Yeah.
And
same thing.
Father had some money.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
And kind of used it.
Yes.
To his advantage. I'm
Anyways,
pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
But good, dude. That's small world, dude. Small world, man. All right, I'm gonna totally change subjects.
All right, perfect.
All right, I'm gonna go with something totally weird, and it's just because like I started watching this, and then I don't know how much you know the history behind this, but I know you like some history.
I do indeed.
So we're gonna get into some World War II history that I dove into the other night. All right.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna start off with the blanket statement. I don't think Hitler died the way we think he died.
Oh, I 100% agree with you. Continue.
And the more I looked into it, the more I watched into it, the more I'm like, there's no way.
There's no way.
There is no way.
Okay, well, for the viewers, what is the alleged way?
So the alleged way is that on April 29th of 1945, it's crazy. I love dates, by the way, so I can just somehow remember dates. The Russians had finally pretty much collapsed Berlin and had closed in enough that they finally took it all down, and they got into Hitler's bunker underneath the center of the city, and they discovered his body and the body of his girlfriend, Eva Braun, and they were both shot and had cyanide. They shot themselves, killed themselves, suicide, all right? Now, that's the story. That's the official story. Russia took the bodies, the Soviet Union, I should say, took the bodies back. They really only have the skull, I think, of one of them, or maybe both of them now. I forgot exactly how that, but ultimately, the only forensic evidence I think they have on the skull was the DNA came back of like a 30-something-year-old female. You know, so like
there's no way.
No one ever saw the body. They were both wrapped up when they came out. No one ever has any official pictures. No one from any other place but the Soviet Union ever knew anything about any of it and knew they were the ones that made the story, you know? So that's the official thing in the history books. Hitler killed himself at his bunker as we closed in on Berlin.
Yes.
I don't see it.
I don't either.
I just don't see it. It looks to me sometime on April 20th was the last time anybody ever saw him make an appearance, public appearance. I think sometime between April 20th and April 29th, he got on a plane and he flew out of that place. And I think he flew to Spain, hung out in Spain for a little bit. I think he got on a U-boat, submarine, went down to Argentina. And I think down in Argentina, he lived there for the rest of his life and died there. And I think he lived in some deep secret hiding. Because here's the crazy part about this whole thing. We already know for a fact that top-level Nazis made it down to Argentina.
Correct.
Lived out a lot of years before Israel became a country, which was funny that like Germany pretty much funded the whole Israel startup, and Israel became a country because of Germany for reparations for this whole thing.
Correct.
What did Israel do? They turned around and made the Mossad and went Nazi hunting immediately. Let's find those assholes. Let's kill them. They found a bunch of Nazis in Argentina trying to live their lives out, brought them asses back and killed them. It makes me think either Hitler was already dead by this point, or he was so good at hiding that they couldn't find him either.
Or they just thought he was dead.
Or they just thought he was dead. Something. Now, they have found, like, ruins of like a military stronghold in the middle of nowhere, the jungle, that had its own energy powering, like, plant. Okay, that they built totally out of stone. The stone was carved out of the rocks from the mountain in the woods, okay? And they found an unbelievable load of Nazi stuff. Coins, memorabilia, medicines, canned foods. They found barracks. They found bullets. This is clearly a Nazi stronghold that was in the middle of this place that has been guaranteed. This was a militarized area. It's nuts to think about some of this stuff. Like, these are the facts. Hitler and what he did, that's the only question at this point. There's no way he killed himself. I think he may have killed Eva Braun and left her behind. I could see him doing that. He was crazy. But I don't see him killing himself. He would have there was too many tunnels. They had a tunnel directly to the airport from his bunker. You could go from his bunker to the airport.
Then there's no way.
He didn't have to enter the ground at all. He could just go straight there, you know? Get on a plane, be gone. See ya. Spain was a neutral territory in the war, but he had funded Franco's civil war to help him win the war.
Interesting.
so that he became king because of Hitler, because of Hitler's funding and
right.
military presence.
I knew that he
So
had done
he owed
that.
him favors.
Right.
And we already have proof that they were helping Nazis come and go from that area and have Nazi bases on Spanish islands, the Canary Islands, things like that. That we know those things. So, like, Hitler most likely used all of this for sure, you know. It's just crazy, dude. The deeper I got, the more I'm like, oh my God, I had no idea the in-depthness of what went on after the war.
Yeah.
Crazy. So, yeah, there it is. I had to throw that out there.
No, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed every bit of that.
I went on
especially because after I was done working in politics, which was long after this campaign I had talked about earlier, I had seen a lot of corruption firsthand and started diving into conspiracy theories myself.
Love a good conspiracy theory.
So,
knowing this is a conspiracy theory, by the way.
Yeah, and so since then, you know, I've gone down many a rabbit hole.
What's your favorite conspiracy theory? Give me one.
The fluoride conspiracy theory is my favorite.
Hit me with it.
The fluoride conspiracy theory is that, right, so you got your pineal gland, people pronounce it differently.
Okay.
Right, that gland in, like, the center of your brain.
Okay.
And it produces a lot of chemicals in your brain when you're sleeping.
Okay.
It's active most when you're sleeping, like when you're dreaming, when you've hit REM, when you have like a near-death experience. A couple other instances when you feel love for the first time or like feel genuine love, it's activated. Anyways, so the idea is that fluoride calcifies that gland. So it makes it less productive.
I was going to say, that's weird, interesting.
And so when it calcifies, it's not able to, it doesn't do as much when it's being activated. It's kind of like stops it from doing anything. Like having, you know, a protection around something, it's not going to do
like
as
your
much.
calloused hands don't have the feeling they used to have.
Exactly. So that's the theory. And that the government put in fluoride countrywide. Because I want to say like 70s-ish, people started talking about putting fluoride in there because it came out like it cleans your teeth, and it's, you know, which I'm sure it does things like that.
Yeah.
You know,
that doesn't mean it's
that
good
doesn't
for
mean
you.
it's not doing this in your brain behind the scenes.
Now, do you know if you have to eat it or anything, or like swallow it? You know, or do you just use it in your mouth and that's all?
I think,
and that's why they're like, don't swallow Listerine, kind of a thing.
Possibly,
you know.
But then once it's in your tap water, so like you're gonna have to.
That's true too. You're gonna drink it. Good call.
But yeah, and so there are ways to decalcify that pineal gland, which is they're very like holistic ways, and certainly doesn't do much on small levels. But once you get to like if you're drinking tap water every day, like the theory is like, you know, you're gonna start to see some effects.
It's long term.
A lot of drowsiness. A lot of like just like your average, you know, side effect.
You know what's weird about this? All right, so Mallory's been having like vision, dizziness, haziness, kind of weirdness going on, and she can't figure out what's going on. She's been trying. She has all these theories. Her latest theory on this one, and like I give her this one, she has actually like a good point to why this could be, but she thinks it's in the water. She thinks she's drinking the water and there's like lead in the water or some kind of poisoning of some kind that's minor, but like causing this. You know what I'm saying?
If you're drinking tap water, like fluoride is in it.
I don't have any of these problems. I don't drink tap water. I don't drink any of this.
You don't drink water.
I don't drink water. It's true. This is true. Like when I drink water, it's because I'm seriously dehydrated, and then I go straight on to something else. I want juice or Coke or something. I get that it's horrible, but the point that I'm making is like maybe she's drinking something in that water for real. You know, we got lead pipes. You know, like we got old nasty pipes. Who knows what they're putting in this water? You know, like we don't even know the long-term effects of a lot of things that we do. That's a huge problem that I have with a lot of things that we do. Is like I hate to do this and I hate to say this right now because that time, but like my mind just goes to these places. But like, okay, we all want to trust the vaccine right now for COVID, but like we haven't even seen one person have it for a whole year. So how are you supposed to know what happens? This should be literally years before we like, oh yeah, this is guaranteed not to have problems, you know? Like, I'm not saying that any problems are going to happen. And in fact, I think no problems will happen.
Mm-hmm.
But my mind just instantly thinks is like, we need time for data.
Me too.
Therefore, no scientist can tell me shit right now without me thinking like we don't have enough.
For me, I do a little more. I have a little more trusting because my sister, she works in research at UAB.
Oh, that's cool.
And so all of her work, once COVID came, all of her work has now been dedicated to it.
To COVID.
And now it's been vaccines and stuff like that. So like she's been like super,
which does make me feel better.
Well, because me, like I was like, no, straight up, no, not.
Yeah.
I know there can be like mercury and shit like that in vaccines in general, which I mean, I've had vaccines, but this is before I knew that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So then you become questioning and like, it's fair. Like, you can't deny.
Are you going to take the vaccine?
I have my first appointment on Friday.
You have your first one, really? What makes you want to take it? What was your
It's not that I want to. It's that I feel like... So, all of my family has been.
Yeah.
I'm the only one who hasn't, and I'm the only one who sees the amount of people I do, and I work with kids.
Okay. So let me ask you this, and this is just... I'm not trying to get too crazy with
this.
No,
sure.
Kids don't have problems with COVID.
Right.
Only the older generations are going to have any problems.
Sure.
If they have all vaccines, what makes you feel like you need a vaccine at that point?
I know in a year time, I will not be able to travel if I don't have a vaccine.
So you're doing this knowing damn well.
I know damn well, dude.
That
you're
we're
not
going to
be able
have
to go overseas. You're not going to be able to go overseas. You will not be able to go overseas.
I guarantee some countries will not let you in without a passport.
No, it will be a world thing. Dude, if you're into conspiracy theories...
I don't know if I agree with this.
I don't agree with it either. It's not something I agree with. That's the thing. That's what's tough about it.
Let me ask you this question. Do you think COVID is that bad?
It's not that I think COVID's that bad, man. Like, it's not that.
No. I'm saying that we would need something like that. A global passport for vaccines.
No, I don't think there should be global anything ever.
So you're against all of this.
But what I am saying is that we're not going to have a choice.
Oh, for sure. I agree with you on this one.
There's some... Like,
and you don't even want to wait until you find out any of this. You just want to go ahead and do it.
I think it's one of those battles I have to pick,
That's fair.
Because there are a lot of other things, too, that are going on behind the scenes that's not COVID that,
for sure,
COVID has hidden or kept us more interested in it while there's been so many other things that we should worry about as well.
Yeah. I will agree with that one 100%. I almost feel like COVID's been huge
and like,
to mask those
dude,
things.
And like, I haven't even talked about it, but like, I was so anti all that, like, this is bullshit, like, and it's like, come on, man, like, I got to get over some of these things because I know there are so many other things
there's bigger battles to fight.
that need my time and effort, and this is one of those things I know I won't really end up having a choice anyways, so... I'm gonna take it easy, and it'll. I think honestly, in the long run, I'll relax a bit more about things like this.
All right, I'm gonna go to a little philosophical, and I guess let's kind of roll it a little early tonight. But does that concern you?
Does what?
I think that you kind of going down that road of like I'm just giving in. It's almost like I'm kind of giving into society. We got to just do these things. I know that the governments are going to do these things, so I'm just going to give in. Society's just going to give in. And I feel the same way. I'm going to end up getting the vaccine, not because I feel like I need it, because really our demographic is truly 100%. Are more likely to get struck by lightning twice, apparently, than you are to die by COVID. So those odds, I think, like I don't really need the vaccine. So save that for people who truly do need the vaccine. I agree with that
as well, 100%.
So like, I feel like I'm going to end up falling into peer pressure, where it's going to be like, you have to have this if you want to travel or if you want to do anything. And then I'll be like, God bless it. Okay, I'll get the vaccine, guys. Like, I'll do it now. Does that concern you that society just gives up rights? Just gives up. You know what I'm saying? Like, when after 9/11 happened, We just gave up the Patriot Act. We just gave up so many rights to just let the government come and peek into our lives.
That's true.
And like, okay, you can say that's for the good thing, but like, is it?
Is it? Yeah. I agree
And
with
these
that.
are baby steps. Oh, it's okay because this is one thing. Is it just this one thing, or is this just one thing in a long line of things?
No, I totally hear what you're saying. But I feel like also on the same note, society in general is waking up to a lot of things. And given this and people having to, I feel the effect would be more leaning towards of no. Next time, no. You're not going to, no.
So there's a limit. There's a line.
I think there's I do, yeah.
So if you had a virus that was the same amount of like deadliness,
I think,
and they wanted to do this again, you would say no?
Not necessarily.
That's fair.
Not necessarily.
That's a tough question. I put you on a tough question.
And I'm not just talking about that, like pandemics and stuff like that. I'm talking like a lot of
giving up more freedom, giving
government,
up more to them. Yeah.
Either side.
Yeah, for sure.
Either side. People are going to, I think people are going to be more and more, I won't say opinionated because people are already opinionated enough, but more strong in their willingness to sacrifice things for the man.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I think they've done a good job of this time saying that this is for each other.
Yeah.
You know, like you're helping each other. Don't think about the government.
Right.
I know we're like...
Well, and that's the thing. The fucking vaccine's not government mandated. People are making it out to be like...
Well, it will be if you have to travel to countries.
Right. But that's more of world.
Correct.
And that's where people are going to be confused about.
Correct.
You know?
But as of right now... Totally free for all.
Like
in the country, especially.
Hospitals are, anyways.
I agree. It's a toughie. I like the conversation.
I do too.
It's tough.
And I really don't like to talk about this at all right now.
I know.
And I haven't with anybody.
It's tough, man. And there's no right or wrong answers here.
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody should be judged on either side.
I agree.
Because you can defend either side so heavily that I think, okay, like the mask people versus the anti-maskers and all that, like I can see both sides, guys. I can argue both sides. And guess what? I wear masks sometimes when people ask me in respect and companies want me to wear them, I'm going to wear them. But if I don't feel like I need to or I'm outside, I'm not going to wear it. So like it can go both ways. Mm-hmm. And I just feel like people have taken it very political. Yeah. And like I guess to say like I'm kind of happy that...
Oh, that was on me.
That was. I'm kind of happy to say that like it's good to have the conversation sometimes.
Yeah.
Just have... I know there's going to be people out there in the world who will enjoy just to hear the thoughts come out that they know they are having too.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and especially too, it's not often right now that you're hearing a conversation like this and it not going overboard and it not becoming
politically
personal.
Driven.
Well, and also people are taking it very personal.
For sure.
And I get why.
I get it too.
But
lives are at
you're
stake.
not seeing both.
Correct.
You're not seeing a more moderated version of it, which is tough because we need that in our lives.
Correct.
We need to see moderation, because when we see moderation, we want a little more moderation.
Yes. Well, this is where censorship gets a little weary.
Right. And I'm not talking about censorship by any means.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying that like the way you have that moderation, I think, is by keeping the dialogue, keeping, look, freedom of speech is important.
100%.
I know there's aggression, and I know people say things that should get them in trouble. Mm-hmm. I'm not arguing that you shouldn't call a gay person gay or a fat person, whatever it is. Like, I get it. But at the same time, if you take that away, you're going down a dark road. And so, like, having those conversations are good.
What happened with the prohibition?
Didn't go well.
It didn't go well.
Didn't go well.
You take things away from people, people are going to do it more, and they're going to hide it, and then it's going to become addicting to them.
Yeah, for sure.
And addiction is not good.
For sure.
But when you when you label something bad and you cannot,
for sure,
it's going to go down a dark road. 100%.
Prohibition created organized crime. You look at it, organized crime, mobs, mafias in our country. What was the guy's name from Chicago? The famous dude,
Babyface.
Was that his name?
Babyface?
What is
I don't
his?
know, man.
The gang's, he's like the most famous one that got caught for his taxes. He didn't even get caught for any of the other stuff. He ended up getting caught for like evading taxes or something.
Remember.
I don't know.
I know I've
St.
seen
Valentine's Day Massacre and all that shit was him. I can't believe I'm forgetting.
Can't remember either.
It's like the most famous guy.
I can like see the
Al
face
Capone,
that he's
right. In Al Capone.
Oh,
Al
Capone.
Al Capone.
Oh.
So like,
Oh yeah.
God, where were we even going? Oh yeah, Prohibition created people like him because then he came in and was like, "Oh, you want alcohol? I got alcohol," you know. And then suddenly you're like, "Why do we have drug dealers? Why do we have these big time drug cartels? Because drugs are illegal, so we need them. People are gonna buy these things.
Yeah,
doesn't go well.
Yeah,
you create problems when you do this. Anyways, we need to get off.
Right on 33.
Oh, I like it.
We like when I looked at it, it said
33. I like it. All right. Any last thoughts?
I enjoyed it.
Yeah. I liked my history rant on Hitler.
That was funny.
That was good. That was good. That was my favorite.
I enjoyed
part.
that.
Okay. Actually, no. Fuck that. My favorite part was finding out that you knew the same person that I did.
That is so
as
crazy
I told a
too.
story about someone who I thought was going to be totally random, and then you ended up calling out the name, and I was like, okay, now this just got strange.
We've had so many moments like that.
So
whether they be off camera or not, it's crazy.
All right.
What's in your world?
What's in your
Come
world,
check
dude?
us out
For
next
real,
week,
man.
Peace.